What's up, you guys? Chet-Guthrie, the Dream Poet here, coming to you all from the beautiful, historical, famous St. Augustine, Florida. Now, St. Augustine, Florida is considered to be the oldest city in the entire United States. But today, you guys, there is a reason why we are here. Not only is it a part of my road trip extravaganza, starting off January on the right foot, but it is also to take a look at some of the more obscure and darker sides of history. And since we are talking about some of the more obscure and more darker sides of history, I wanted to talk to you all today about the worst, most gruesome cold case murder that has happened here in St. Augustine, Florida. And that murder, of course, is the murder of Althea Lindsley. But before I tell you all this story, I want to show you all one of the most unusual, but one of the rather most interesting burial plots that is here at the St. Augustine Military Cemetery. And that is these three pyramids right here. These pyramids were the remains of soldiers that were brought back from the Seminole Indian Wars of the time from about 1835 to about 1840. It was a very, very bloody series of battles here in Florida, and for the men that were coming back, the dead, they were essentially coming back as, well, parts, respectively. And so what the city of St. Augustine did at the time is they buried these unidentified men beneath these pyramids. And it's just one of those things about history that, you know, you don't really think about until you see it. And this placard tells a little bit more about it. These three pyramids cover vaults containing the individual unidentified remains of the 1,468 soldiers who died during the Florida Indian Wars between 1835 and 1842. The Florida Indian Wars began with the murder of an Indian agent at Fort King in December 25th, 1835, where freaking from the brook. Anyway, y'all can read more of that if you all want to pause it. Now, in order to begin this very dark story, we must begin with who Althea Lindsley was. You see, Althea Lindsley was born to two wealthy parents July 25th of 1917. And around that time, she was very well known for what she did. She was a model, she was an actress, and probably the best things that she was known for was being on the game show Winner Take All. And around the age of 56, Althea Lindsley, she came down here to St. Augustine, Florida, to take care of her dying mother. She was ailing, she was very sick, but while she was down here, she married the former mayor, Jinx Lindsley. Now, since Althea Lindsley was down here, newly married, taking care of her dying mother, it's not really known on what she was like as a neighbor. But there was one man that could not stand her, and that was her next door neighbor, was Alan Stanford. You see, Alan Stanford, he was the former county manager here in St. Augustine, and one of the things that got on his nerves about Althea is that she would take dogs off the streets. Now, she had one dog in particular that would bark at all hours of the night. It would keep up Alan Stanford. And many, many times, it was often common during this time to see Althea Lindsley making her complaints to the city council or county council, whatever, or however you would like to call it. And finally, Alan Stanford had enough. On January 23rd, 1974, around 6 o'clock in the evening, kind of like a similar night or day like it is today, pretty warm, not too cold. Well, that's when 18-year-old Locke McCormick, who lived in this house right here, by the way, that is Althea Lindsley's house right there, he quotes to his mother, "Mama, Mama, Mr. Stanford is beating Miss Lindsley." Now, hearing this terror, Locke McCormick and his mother, they run outside. They go over to Miss Lindsley, or Althea Lindsley's house, and this is what they find. Out on Althea Lindsley's porch, they find that she has been stabbed 9 times with a very large weapon, a machete. Now, at the time, machetes were pretty common here in Florida. It's what people used to cut down a lot of the weeds, brush, and whatnot. But also what they found that Althea Lindsley had one of her fingers slashed. Obviously, it was a defense wound, and it looked like honestly somebody had just poured blood on Althea Lindsley's body. By the way, if you all are wondering, this is Alan Stansford's house. And as you can see, they were next door neighbors. Now, one of the eerie things and one of the more suspicious things is that there was a trail of blood that led from the front porch of Althea Lindsley's house to the front porch of Alan Stanford's. Now, it is because of this that Alan Stanford is taken into custody and he is charged with first-degree murder. However, during the trial, the star, I guess you could say, the star witness that was here, Locke McCormick, he was asked, "Now, are you sure that it was Alan Stanford?" Well, this 18-year-old man that obviously saw Mr. Stanford hitting Althea Lindsley, saw him, he quotes with saying, "I didn't see his face." Well, they say, "What do you mean you didn't see his face?" You said, "I didn't see his face." Now, suspiciously enough, after Alan Stanford gets off, because there wasn't enough evidence, well, he gets off and Locke McCormick mysteriously gets a new car. To this day, it is still considered a cold case, even though everything pointed to Alan Stanford not liking Althea Lindsley's dogs that would bark at all days of the night, or all days and every night. Anyway, guys, I thought I would delve into a little bit darker history today. Remember, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Always means a lot, goes to show that y'all care and that y'all want to see more awesome videos. So without further ado, you guys, vlog over.